Hi everyone. Today I'll be going to explain you about the serverless architecture of deployment. Many of you, by reading this word serverless, think that we don't have any server in this architecture, but obviously it's not true. Here, the term serverless means that as an application developer, you don't have to think about the server. That means you will use some serverless provider, you will deploy your application there, and the serverless provider will take care of everything, like scaling up the server, if more number of requests is coming, if scaling down of your server, if less number of requests is coming, killing your server if no request is coming. So all these things are taken care by the serverless provider. To understand this more clearly, we have to understand about the virtual machine. So let's first understand about the virtual machine, then we'll be coming to the serverless thing. Let's say this is your world map, and in this world map, you have a lot of continents. In this continents, you will be having a lot of countries, and the countries will be having some data centers. Let's say I'm denoting this data centers using this circles. So if you don't know what is data center, then this data center is nothing but a big computer which is running 24 by 7. Big computer means that this computer will be having lakhs of GB memory and RAM, right? So this is nothing but a data center. So a lot of computer is here in a single data center. So uh, you will buy one virtual machine. Here, the term virtual machines means that you will buy some memory and some RAM from these data centers. So let's say I buy a virtual machine. So this virtual machine has 1 GB of memory, 1 GB of RAM. So I have to give some charges to the provider which is giving me this virtual machine access. This virtual machine has its own public IP. That means you can find this virtual machine using IP. So what happens is, let's say your user is requesting your server, and your server will respond back to the user, right? That will happen normally. Okay, sorry, I missed one point. Here, in this virtual machine, you will deploy your server. Now your server will be running in this data center, right? Now, when the user will request, then that request will be fulfilled by this server, which is running on the data center, right? Let's say if a lot of request is coming and this single server is not able to handle this request, then what you have to do is you have to scale up. So for scaling up, let's say we are incrementing this EC2 this virtual machines count. We are bringing up more virtual machines. We are setting up the load balancer to distribute the load across this virtual machines. So all this thing you have to take care. You have to manually do it by going to the service provider website. Let's say if you are using AWS, then AWS provides EC2 instance. So this EC2 instance is nothing but a virtual machine. You can buy the virtual machine here and you can configure load balancer on these EC2 machines. So all these things you have to take care manually if you are setting up your server. But what happens is if you deploy your website using serverless providers, then let's say you deployed your website using serverless provider. In AWS, we have AWS Lambda, which provides this service. So you deployed your application. Now AWS Lambda brings back one machine, and now request is coming. All right. If request is coming, request is fulfilled. Let's say if a lot of request is coming, then this Lambda will automatically scale up your server, right? So that this request will be fulfilled. Let's say if less number of requests is coming, if only one request is coming, then this Lambda will automatically kill your server. The serverless provider will kill your server. And let's say if no request is coming, then what this Lambda will do is it will kill your this main server also. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is that right now in the world, you don't have any virtual machine. That means you don't have any server running. Getting my point? So right now in the world, you don't have any server. Now what happens? Let's say after an hour, one user makes again request to your server. Then this Lambda will bring up your server again. And this bringing back your server will require some time. Generally, it's around 1 minute. Like the first request which is coming after a long time, it takes slightly higher compared to the normal request. So the first request which is coming, it takes 1 minute to be fulfilled. And after that, if the request is coming, then this request will generally be fulfilled in milliseconds time. So this happens. And again, if a lot of requests is coming, then your Lambda will again scale up. If no request is coming, then again it will kill every server. So this happens. And yeah, this serverless providers charge you on the basis of number of requests going to your server. If a lot of requests is coming to your server, then you have to give a large amount of money to the serverless providers. And if let's say no request is coming to your server, that means you don't have to give any money to the serverless provider. So it's good for beginners. But if your application is large, I mean, if your user base is in an entire country, then it's generally preferred to use EC2 instance because in that case, on the basis of request, it will cost you higher for sure. But what happens is, yeah, I just forgot to explain you about virtual machine pricing structure. If you buy a virtual machine, then you bought a virtual machine using some memory and bandwidth. Now that virtual machine's price is fixed. Let's say you buy 1 GB memory, 1 GB RAM virtual machine, then let's say it has $20 a month price. But if you buy a big machine which has 8 GB of memory, 8 GB of RAM, then this virtual machine will cost higher, but it will be fixed whether the request is coming to your server or not. And yeah, so this will cost you higher. Let's say this will cost you $100 a month. So the bigger the virtual machine is, the more it will cost you, and this will be fixed irrespective of you are using this virtual machine or you are not using this virtual machine. Okay, I hope you have understood about this serverless architecture. If you understood this, then do like this video and subscribe to my channel, guys. See ya. Have a good day. Bye.